This episode is brought to you by T-Mobile. Now Netflix is included. Another reason why T-Mobile is America's best unlimited network. Switch today.
I think I misspelled Jim Carrey.
Hey! Welcome to SJU. I'm Roth, Cornet, and I am joined by a brilliant panel of brilliance. Andy Signore, Spencer Gilbert, and the epic voice guy himself. This is Mr. Jon Bailey, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to talk about JJ Abrams returning to Star Wars and Jim Carrey versus Nick Cage in The Nut Off.
Who's crazier?
We'll find out right here on SJU, but let's talk about...
You will not want to miss that. Stay tuned.
You will.
Great tease, because I want
legitimately
trust me,
will
you
not.
don't want to miss that. You click for JJ maybe, or maybe we'll switch the thumb, but stay tuned.
JJ Abrams, set to replace Colin Trevorrow.
He's going to make a Star Wars.
He's going to do a Star Wars, episode 9.
Okay.
He is going to co-write the screenplay with Argo and Justice League scribe Chris Terrio. I just read scribe.
You sound like the trades. Buffo, B.O.
Bad Robot, his production company, is going to co-produce with Lucasfilm. Dan Murrell is actually at a company meeting today, and he was not able to join us. He's literally taking one for the team. But he did want us to show this clip of what he had to say about the Trevorrow replacement.
Do they go back to JJ?
That's my prediction. I will predict, and I'm probably wrong, but my prediction is they bring JJ in from the wings.
Dun, dun, dun,
He
dun.
called it. He called
Points.
I mean, I love Dan, but come on, Dan, that was a pretty easy answer.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
You don't get credit, Dan. I mean, a lot of us
him
thought that. Him or Ryan Johnson.
yeah.
It was a 50-50 gamble.
So listen, Kathleen Kennedy, here's what she had to
Nostradamus.
say about it. With The Force Awakens, JJ...
That's all right. I blurt out puns.
It was like a 30-second delay. You guys don't even know the times that he's saying them too softly for you to hear, but I'm just quietly laughing.
For years of writing starring sections of honest trailers. It sounds like this other thing.
Yeah,
Get
that
it?
sounds dumb.
Well, so she probably wanted somebody that she felt safe with, that she felt comfortable with. She said, Kathleen Kennedy is the person I am talking to, the woman in charge of Lucasfilm. With The Force Awakens, JJ delivered everything we could have possibly hoped for, and I'm so excited that he is coming back to close out this trilogy. Thoughts, Jon Bailey?
Yeah, that was pretty an obvious one. I mean, he did such a great job before. He's good, and why not? I mean, what else would you not need him?
He's not working on anything else, right?
Exactly. I mean, his company's called Bad Robot.
Cloverfield.
I mean, what better person?
Another
to have a
secret
Star Wars movie?
Cloverfield, something like
Yeah,
that.
but he doesn't direct those.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the only thing I feel like he saw the complaints of the first one, and I think it did affect him a little bit. I think he saw like the too much nostalgia, too much repetition, and he's even said, I feel like there were quotes where he's like, "Yeah, we felt like we had to sort of retread a little bit." So I'm hoping he'll learn from that. And I did like the first Force Awakens the first time. I see the flaws that people have pointed out, but I think maybe he wanted to come back and sort of challenge. All right, you're right. Let's set this off in a new, interesting way. I hope, because I think that's where we need to go with this story. Let's not keep adding the pieces of what we've already seen. Let's try some new things. I get it. We have characters we know and love from the old movies that'll still be there to an extent, but how do we take them on a new journey?
Yeah, I mean, you can't say that he isn't visually a perfect match for Star Wars. I think, watching Force Awakens on mute is an amazing experience. It looks great. It looks like a Star Wars movie, and I have no doubt that he'll be able to give us like iconography and visual things that we like remember. But if he goes back into like building another Death Star and like what's my Ewok gonna be this time, and JJ Abrams doesn't have the best track record with bringing things to a close. If you look at Lost,
Hang on. I'm gonna tap in Billy Business.
Oh, there's a tag in.
I'm gonna tag in Billy Business.
Oh man, so not prepared.
This
Because I told Roth, I was like, if I hear one more person say, "Oh, he doesn't know how to close out because of Lost," I was going to light them up.
Oh, here it
Do you
is.
know how much JJ Abrams had input into the finale of Lost?
None.
Nothing. He did the pilot. It was
done after
Cuse
the pilot.
and Lindelof. That's like saying, "Oh man, Bryan Singer doesn't know how to do a series finale because of House." He had nothing to do with it. You were wrong.
I disagree,
You are
Billy.
so wrong.
He is the boss. He could fire
Oh,
those people.
stop
He
it,
knows
stop
Cuse
it.
and,
He had
and
nothing to
Lindelof.
do with
He
Lost
could have
at
come
that
in if he
point.
still cared.
He's doing
If
Star
he
Trek
still
at this
cared
point. He
about
doesn't care about
Lost,
Lost.
he would have shown up and done the job
You're
that
right.
the high
If he
boss
cared about
does.
Lost, he would have, but he
Fight.
didn't because he didn't have anything to do with that finale.
Billy, when a boss cares, as he shows up on the show. Am I sitting here in this chair? Do I have to be here in this chair? No.
You just wanted to get out of a meeting. That's exactly
What happened to JJ Abrams? He was in a company meeting.
Exactly. He wanted out of that lost meeting. He was sick and tired of that show, and he knew it was going nowhere.
Everybody
He's
that's
equally
like,
guilty, my good sir.
JJ Abrams, such a safe
I
pick.
need a bell and a Thor hammer.
With $1 billion franchise, of course I want a safe pick. I don't want Tree of Life for episode 9. I want someone that knows how to do
Look,
it.
the fact that he wasn't involved at all in the finale shows that he's unprepared to end anything at all. He just sets things in motion, then he checks out and is like, well, I'm done. You take it from here.
Quick counterpoint.
Yeah.
But I don't yell at me, Billy. They did use the original script he wrote for the finale. Carry on.
It's impossible because the show had changed so much from the. I can't. By the way, all of you right now who are like, yeah, it's okay. You saw it 3, 4, 5 times. You went back to the theater to see it.
Force Awakens, I saw twice.
Because you thought it was
twice
mediocre the first time.
No,
so
I
you
liked
go
it the
back
first
and
time, and then I watched it the
mediocre?
second time. It didn't hold up as well the second time.
Did you watch it again for the honest trailer, or did you watch it when it came out?
Yeah, we bought it again.
Yeah, you bought it.
I watched it. I still only watched it twice.
You know what? Fine. I'll take that gamble. If you don't like JJ Abrams, guess what? You're still going to see this 3-4 times.
we will.
Don't come at me saying like, oh, JJ Abrams,
How
what a
about
terrible
Billy?
choice.
Into Darkness.
It had its moments. But again, I blame Kurtzman and Orsi more for Star Trek Into Darkness
It looked
than I do
good.
JJ Abrams.
It did look good.
Good talk.
I love that. Good time. With the run-in. We need Billy entrance music.
We need Billy music.
just
Billy
real-
Business. Give him a Billy Business intro. Billy Business.
Yeah.
It was
So
Billy Business.
That's
the
Billy
lost,
Business.
That's
the
Billy
lost
Business.
comparison after the pilot, J.J. Abrams was done and he handed it over. I mean, to the point that with Locke, really quickly, he pointed to Terry O'Quinn, right, who
Yes.
played Locke, and he said to Damon Lindelof, "That guy's got a secret." And Damon Lindelof went, "Okay, what is it?" And J.J. Abrams went, "Figure it out." And so the entire Locke storyline was them, but they did say that they returned to his original ending in the finale, not the whole script, but they returned to his original template for the ending. And that's our Lost segment for the day. Let's talk about Star
We sure
Wars.
got lost in that thread.
But the episode 9, I am curious. There have been some people tweeting different responses. Some saying, you know what, like clearly he understands the franchise. He can work with the creators. They have a good working relationship. And other people saying, yeah, it was too much nostalgia in The Force Awakens. How do you guys feel? What do you want to see out of this movie, especially after Rian Johnson delivers his?
I feel like he's a guy who listens when people complain, and he's also a fan of what he's working on. I mean, all the people that are coming up now grew up watching this stuff, and then they get into this industry, and they don't want to make it bad on purpose. I mean, they're not trying to make something bad. I feel like he's going to listen, and I think he's going to at least try. I just hope that the other forces, or he doesn't, sit back and be like, okay, let the train go, and then it doesn't end. But yeah, as long as he doesn't do what he did the first time and put too much of things, I would be perfectly fine with it.
And there are a lot of those forces with Kasdan and Kennedy, all these people who are,
I mean, he brought back practical effects to Star Wars, which I liked. I just felt like it was a little too much in my face all the time.
I agree, but what I like though is I feel like he is the one of those guys who can fight back a little bit harder. And now that he's negotiated to come back, I'm sure that was sort of part. I would hope he would have made that part of his deal of like, I'm involved in this. You can't just push me away. Like, this is my vision. Are we on the same page? You would think someone like that would have that conversation before you sign up for it again. So I agree. I feel like I like that he can't be pushed around as easily as all these other directors are proving to be. And then they're going to have a smart sort of, those are 3 smart people, Kasdan, Kennedy, and Abrams. Like, they put their minds to it. I have faith they'll do something smart. And I think that, like John said, they'll listen. So
But smart for them is to do something safe. That's the smart move, is to do something that's like,
fair.
oh, people like the original trilogy. Let's keep doing the original trilogy. This next movie is really the pivot point. This is like the capstone where the whole new Star Wars...
and they didn't bring him back, which is a telling sign too. The fact that she didn't bring Rian Johnson back, which I'm sure they could have made that happen if they wanted to make that happen. Yeah. The fact that they chose not to double down on him...
He might be working so hard, he's a little burnt out right now. He's like, I don't want to jump right back into doing it.
Sure, I mean, but come on. Kathleen Kennedy could have made him do it. Don't you think?
Could have made him, yeah. Yeah, but I think our expectations are going to change wildly depending on episode 8. Either we'll be expecting like, oh my God, this is going in a new direction. This is a new Star Wars trilogy for a new generation, or it's like, oh, we're doing the greatest hits again, just like Rogue One, and what seems like their model is to just kind of rehash the original trilogy. So we'll see. This next movie is more important than any other Star Wars
I don't
movie.
think JJ's going to have an X-Wing crash in the middle of the street and Budweiser fall everywhere. Be like, you guys want to drink this beer? I mean, I don't think he's just going to be like, whatever you guys want to do, it's cool with me.
I mean, that's all Michael Bay, though.
That would be.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah,
not like
he
he
makes
just lets
those
back and
calls.
lets the producers or let the the executives like just throw in whatever you want. I'll just sit back and let you know. I feel like he's hands on. Like, no, this is not going to work. I like this better. This is what Star Wars fans want to see. So
And he is a
think,
Star Wars fan.
Exactly. I think he's going to do it right. At least that's my fingers crossed.
Well, they have a great working relationship. I mean, they've known each other for many, many years. I think since he was really young, like a late teens, So ideally, he'll be the director the whole way through, you would imagine. And look, the truth is about Force Awakens, I hear people's complaints and I understand it, but I can just say that I went 3 times and 3 times I had a great time. And
I don't want to go on record to back it up. I like the movie. I see the flaws too, but I still had fun with the movie.
Yeah.
exactly.
here.
I mean, that's sort of the weird thing about that movie is that I really do see the complaints and I agree with them, and yet each time I left really happy and delighted.
Well, for me, it always depends on what you're comparing it to. It's, to me, great compared to the prequels. It's fine compared to the original trilogy.
No, it's fantastic
and
compared to the prequels.
Yeah, and it's good on its own. Like, this isn't the best movie ever made.
No,
this
not
is
at all. But why does it have to be? Why is everything so binary?
Because it's Star Wars.
Oh.
Yeah.
Star Wars is great or terrible. Don't give me this middling Star Wars. Aim for the stars and crash or make it.
But not everything, and I love the original trilogy too, but not everything about that is perfect either.
But at the time when it came out, it freaking blew people away.
Sure.
They've never seen anything like that before. Now that it's very rare that we'd see stuff that was like, wow, I've never seen anything
They're pretty.
like that.
I would argue they're pretty great because even Return of the Jedi, which I get isn't the most of the 3, but still,
sadly, that's my favorite. 'Cause I
They
saw it
go and
first.
do new things in it, which is what was interesting to me. Like they create new characters and fun stuff happens. So it's like I applaud them for doing that. So I think that's what we just need to keep doing: is new worlds, new creatures, new stories, like new things.
Yeah.
Is what Star Wars needs to be about, and not going back and why did the Death Star break? Like, who cares? We don't need that. Stop it!
I mean,
Stop it!
That's Han Solo's
It's a
real
fan
name.
book. Rogue One should have been a book, and that's it. I'm so over.
I mean, I don't disagree. Like, nobody wants them to get weird and interesting and explore the entire universe that they have available. Well, I don't know. There's probably people that do more than me,
Yeah,
but I
there's-
definitely do.
there's a lot.
But also, can't we like things and feel great affection for things and love them when they are imperfect? Can
Yeah,
we
oh yeah,
not?
for
Are we
sure.
human or are we dancer?
Look at
That's
the
gonna
room.
Come back later.
Look at the
That's
room,
gonna
right?
Come back later.
The room, the disaster. We'll talk about it later in some other show, but the Disaster Artist trailer looks amazing, and that's
Yeah.
celebrating an imperfect movie.
Maybe the most imperfect movie ever made. We'll see where it goes. I understand people's concerns. I am hopefully optimistic.
Yeah,
and I do think
I am always.
Dan predicted it. It made sense, right?
Well, we all kind of predicted. That's pretty easy.
Dan flipped a coin and called heads.
You know what we should talk about now? This is the worst segue ever.
Segway! Oh, we don't have it yet? All right,
You
we're
didn't
getting one.
clip of Paul Blart. Just
Do we have it? Do we have it? No, I was so
scroll
excited
into
for a
the screen.
second.
We were
One
gonna
day,
wait.
we'll
One
surprise
day
you with
we'll
it.
have a graphic.
Yeah.
One of these days. So Nicolas Cage
Nicolas
thinks
Cage.
that I just wanted to let that hang for a
Yeah.
little while. Thinks that his Superman movie that never was is better than Man of Steel or any Superman movie you've ever seen.
Okay.
In your mind. Nick Cage has been doing press
Gotta
for his
hear this
upcoming film Mom and Dad. This is from ghostwriter director Brian Taylor, and it co-stars Selma Blair and Ann Winters. He was doing press at the Toronto International Film Festival for this film, and while there, he's postulated the following.
But I would offer that the
Oh my God.
movie that Tim and I would have made, in your imagination, is more powerful than any of the Superman movies. I didn't even have to make the movie, and we all know what that movie would have been in your imagination. That is the Superman, and that is the movie. Even though you never saw it, it is the Superman.
when your friends are all secretly laughing at you.
Wow.
Oh, no, they're laughing. Not secretly.
Oh my God.
So
Look at all the rings. There's so
Yeah.
much going
Well, first of all,
on.
he's doing Trump hands, or he's doing all
Believe me,
all this.
That's an
It's gonna be the
oversell.
best.
When someone's doing
It's gonna
that,
be the best
they're
Superman
overselling.
movie you've ever heard.
been the best in your imagination, people.
He looks like a professional poker player and a pickup artist and a pimp all
And
got
Indiana Jones.
and Indiana Jones
Looks
got
like he just
caught in a
left
time warp.
It looks like he left a steam play convention.
His time machine broke, and he was just grabbing things at random.
He just visited the prop room, just threw a bunch of stuff on before the
What have
interview.
you got in this? Yeah, let me take that. Take more rings, please.
Let's set up what movie he's talking about. John Schnepp, a friend of ours, did a documentary about this. It was called The Death of Superman Lives. What happened? And it's about the Superman Lives movie that Nick Cage and Tim Burton were working on that never got off. There we go. That never got off the ground. And so he's basically saying that the movie that exists in your mind of what Tim Burton would have made is better than any real Superman movie in your mind. I'm gonna say he kind of has a point because isn't literally anything
in your
better
mind is
in
better
your
than
mind?
Exactly.
Especially that.
Yeah.
In your
Like
you just tack on in your imagination to everything you say in your imagination. I'm like, well, yeah, of course.
But in my imagination, pre-Willy Wonka, Alice in Wonderland, Tim Burton really could do no wrong. And so that, like, awesome Tim Burton with a Nick Cage Superman, I mean, of course that's going to be amazing in our heads.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to imagine the ones that didn't come to fruition as the best ones. You know, you think about what kind of music would like Kurt Cobain and Tupac and John Lennon be making, but let's be real. This is Nick Cage in a plastic bodysuit gonna.
That's all I'm thinking about all day.
His point would have been more valid if we did not have the pictures of him in the outfit.
in the outfit and the
long hair
filmography.
looking like an 80s music video.
Well, that's not what he would have. But to be fair, that's not what he would have looked like in the movie, right?
But can we just say that,
that's
like,
my mind version too.
90s Tim Burton doing Superman is just like 2000s Zack Snyder doing Superman. Like, you don't get the goth to make the Superman movie. Stop giving Superman to goths.
Do you guys
Interesting. Yeah,
think
would
that
it have
this is
been
going to
goth?
become the new pickup line? Like, well, in your mind, we've had the
In your
best sex
imagination.
you've ever had.
In your mind.
Your imagination, it's an amazing thing. Oh, jeez. I mean, the movie we did get was pretty bad. I'm just saying.
Yeah, the Superman Returns.
Yeah. So throw him in the mix.
It would have been more exciting.
Could have
Even
been
in my
more-
imagination, it's still not
The
that
Superman
great.
parts were kind of cool. Him saving people.
There was so
good.
little of that,
Yeah,
though.
but
It
when
was
it-
just
when
the
he did,
plane
if
If
sequence.
you just
was
played the
great.
whole movie in real time instead of slow motion, it get to it a little quicker. Maybe
Yeah.
we would have done a little better.
Yeah.
I think he's got a point,
I do too.
but it's kind of, is it sort of insulting to all the
Is
other
he serious?
Superman movies, like
But
The Man of
That's
Steel?
what I was thinking. I was like, how can we?
Well, is it
It's just-
serious? Is he being
is he really
serious or is he
being
playing the
serious?
Nick Cage
It's
character?
hard to believe anyone that looks like they're about to break my wrist for not paying him back on a horse bet. I don't believe anyone dressed like that. I'm sorry. You're most likely talking shit because you're wearing sunglasses indoors.
He
in a
looks
very
like-
dark room.
You're
I
wearing
don't
like
get my money,
so
I'm
many
going
high
to
school
have to cut
graduation
you.
rings at the same time.
I just want to note Selma Blair's face throughout this entire
loves it.
experience.
They all love it.
Like, I've never seen an actress this uncomfortable other than Kirsten Dunst.
Oh, I see. I don't think she's uncomfortable.
during
I
the
think
Lars
she
Van
knows.
Trier.
Yeah, she's like
I
next
actually
to
love
it.
his face, but like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it's the face he's got right there.
She's laughing like this is incredible. I thought it was more like she's so happy to be there to witness the
Perhaps
crazy.
it's, I
Magic
can't
of
believe this is actually happening right now.
He looks like a guy who
had.
had to sell a castle, a meteor, and a dinosaur skull to pay back his creditors, which is what Nick Cage
He still
actually
owes
has
money
done.
on his carpeted wagon.
That's a man who's had to sell back the dinosaur skull he bought.
illegally from a horse bet.
Yes.
I feel kind of bad for him because he was baited. Like, they were asking him about this movie, which people often do, and I'd heard that he just didn't want to talk about it much because maybe this is him
Maybe his
putting
reps
it
were
to
saying
bed.
that because they knew what he would start saying.
No, because I guess he was really sad that he had become kind of an internet meme, like that he was just made into a joke, and he was.
I don't
he
think
just made it
Superman was what
worse.
did that. Not sure if the Superman movie is more the bees.
death-
I've heard
Superman.
stories of him. People I know have worked with him, and he's apparently awesome. Like he totally is aware and has seen the things and tries to understand it. Like I think he was in on it. I don't.
Yeah, I think
he's-
he puts it on in front
Yeah,
of the cameras.
I think he meant a little bit of it. At the same time, he's playing that a little bit. But it's this beautiful walk down the middle of he's owning it, but he's also aware.
a little
I
bit in on
don't
the
mean
joke.
to segue into this, but I kind of feel like him and Jim Carrey are on the same thing.
Oh no! Well, that's the
it's
perfect
like,
segue.
are they just messing with us?
Well,
like,
here we go.
Is it real or not?
Because speaking of your mind, Jim Carrey doesn't think you exist, people.
This clip is incredible. Where was he? Yeah, okay, there he is. At the
Fashion show?
Fashion show.
So
Fashion week.
I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join. And
that's true.
True.
And here I am. So I don't believe that you exist, but there is a wonderful fragrance in the air.
You don't believe certain icons have the power to make change, to think differently, to be bold, to inspire others? Artistry, you're one of them.
On the good foot. Ha! You shut it down now.
James Brown?
It's not our world.
None of this is real?
Nope.
So you're just passing
We don't
through.
matter. We don't matter.
Oh, wow.
There's the good news.
Okay.
Well, you gotta go watch the whole clip.
Yeah.
Because
Alrighty
in the
then.
context, it's much more interesting in the context.
Take
We
care
should have
now,
just
bye-bye
kept
then.
playing the whole thing. But he starts kind of honestly. He does this whole thing of none of this matters. This is all BS. And it's kind of, I was really on board with him. I'm like, amen, sir. I could totally see where he's coming from. But then as she prods, which that interviewer was fantastic, by the way. I don't know her name. But she handled that very
this
well.
is-
As well as you could.
Yeah.
I thought she handled it really well.
What are you
That
gonna
is-
do? I just love. He's saying like none of this matters, whatever, and then she's like, "Well, you're wearing a very fancy outfit to this event. Like, why are you here?"
That's a good point.
Called you out.
He's kind of the guy that showed up to the party just to make fun of everyone else. It's like, well, then why did you come here if you got so much better things to do? Just stay home.
And you can tell he
None of
sort
that
of then got
matters either.
and then he just went crazier with it, and then he starts talking craziness.
Yeah, it was great, and then it went like Jaden Smith for me. That's just my personal read on it. Was how can mirrors be real if our eyes aren't real? Type Jaden Smith tweet level.
Well, here's the thing. Like, this is he's Kat Sadler, by the way.
Yeah.
And he was at Fashion Week in New York, and we missed some of the more glorious moments in that. So I do encourage you to go back and watch the full clip, because he starts talking about things like, well, I don't believe you're really here, but there's a beautiful scent in the air. And then he also talks about, and I had to Billy and I had to look up, he talks about, I think we're all made of tetrahedrons, which this is how bad at math I am. And Billy and I this morning were like, is it magic? Is it?
Summon your tetrahedrons.
He must be talking about sorcery, right?
Tetrahedrons fill all of us and bind
And
the
we
galaxy.
immediately Google
They're
it,
midichlorians.
and we're like, no, it's math. That's how bad we
just
were
a
at
shape.
math. It's literally a shape. But then I typed in tetrahedron and Scientology because I got a little bit suspicious. And apparently there is some kind of link between that and I don't know. I wonder, did the Scientologists get him?
No.
I shouldn't even talk about this because I'm going to get killed.
The hit job. Careful.
Yeah.
Judging by his
He's
face,
making
it looked
art.
like-
He's like a really good, serious painter these days.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
He's also probably on some sort of drugs.
probably on some kind of drugs,
And,
going to
you know,
Fashion
drugs
Week.
can affect you positively and
Yeah.
strangely, and you
I don't
know.
think
But
it's
face it
drugs.
looks-
I think it's drugs plus being so famous for so long that like you haven't had a normal interaction with another human being in 20 years. Like since 1994, everyone's been like, Ace Ventura, The Mask, you're Jim Carrey. Like no one has treated him regularly for so long that he just
Plus,
is like, well, I guess I'm a god
There's some
now.
dark stuff he had. He was like dated some woman who then didn't she like kill himself? Like he's had some like dark stuff happen in his life, which it's like exactly coupled. Yeah, everyone has those personal moments and issues coupled with the immense fame and how do you deal with it? And then I'm sure he's experimented with drugs, and that can definitely put your brain in different cylinders. Like the guy's been through it all. It's like I think he was just at his sort of point of just like he doesn't. I think it was a little bit of he really doesn't care.
Yeah.
And then I think he was just effing with her. I think it was a sort of a shift of like
He wasn't, because he followed it up the next day, and he this was for.
Well, he committed because that's how he is.
Commit
He's
to the
an
bit.
actor.
Yeah.
It's like
He's
Andy
Jim
Kaufman.
Carrey, the actor. So
It was with E Canada, and he was a little more cogent, but he was repeating the same things. Basically, like, look, I don't believe that you exist and I exist. It's not my house. It's just the house. It's our house.
Oh, let's
Like,
all go to
we're-
Jim Carrey's house.
That's what I
your
said.
imagination.
That's what I said. We're one soul. And I was like, great, party at Jim's.
Yeah.
Like, clearly, if we're all one soul, we're all invited.
Space. I'm just, judging by his face, it looked like he was just messing with her at first and is like, I really don't want to do
Can you
this
do
anymore.
a Jim Carrey Ace Ventura?
I can do a Jim Carrey.
Can you do a
Ooh.
crazy talk Ace Ventura?
Crazy Jim Carrey,
Do you
Ace
like
Ventura.
Matthew
We're
McConaughey?
not even here. All of this reality is a false.
I want to watch that movie.
Yeah.
But I
Ace
feel like,
Ventura 3, he's just
I
lost
can't
it all.
help but think, because Jim Carrey being who he is, I can't help but think, even the follow-up is just like, you know what? I went with that thing last night. You know what? I should just stick with it and just mess with everybody's heads and just see what happens.
Well, there's a documentary coming out, right, about him, Jim, and Andy Kaufman, which sounds like that Netflix just purchased.
Oh, so you think he's doing a bit? And
Maybe, I don't know, but there's this. I'm so fascinated to see this documentary because apparently they filmed all this B-roll of him on the set of Man on the Moon, which I loved, Milos Forman movie you should check out, about Andy Kaufman, who I also loved, which is this amazing amazing performance artist who just would do these crazy things. And apparently he just was Andy Kaufman the whole movie. There was this fascinating story where he agreed to play the Grinch and had an hour-long call with Ron Howard as Andy Kaufman, accepting the role of the Grinch.
That's amazing.
Which apparently is all these moments are like part of this documentary because they filmed it all, and then Universal or whoever owned the footage, like someone bought it, and then they made a documentary about the process of like just completely going method into your thing. So he's known for doing that, and it's like this movie just got picked up. I think they were promoting this movie a little bit too.
And I know we've been on the record being against method actors doing annoying things to their castmates, but for Andy Kaufman, that makes a lot of sense because he was his whole bit was.
They totally redid the Jerry Lawler thing for real with Jim Carrey, and Jim Carrey got really hurt, and the next day it was just like, I just wanted to do what Andy Kaufman did, and do it again. And I don't know if you remember back in Dumb and Dumber, but he married his co-star. Right, Dumb and Dumber, and then they immediately got to. This is kind of typical Jim Carrey. Like, I'm promoting a movie, really, but I'm just kind of messing with you at the same time. You never really know.
Yeah, I also think
I
think he's definitely gone a little batty.
Maybe, yeah.
I think it's but I agree, it's a combination of it all because this guy has been through a lot.
Casey Affleck.
What's up, girl?
Casey Affleck. Nice.
This is conversation.
Segue. We need that segue.
No, Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix did that bit, right?
I'm not there.
I'm not there. Or I'm not here.
That bit being mushrooms. Look up that red carpet interview where he's like, "There's a frog in my hair." What?
I would say
going to red carpet on mushrooms, like that's ballsy.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't imagine.
No thanks.
That is serious dedication to your art to go that far.
Mushrooms are turning on me.
You need to go hang out by a tree. How's that tree?
The tree doesn't exist.
Chill out.
Just a tetrahedron only in your imagination.
It doesn't exist, but it's part of you. It's not your tree.
I kind of want to see Jim get together with Nick and Jeff Bridges and just have them have a conversation together, and Matthew McConaughey. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey.
Would be the quiet one. I don't know that celebrity is all that it's cracked up to be.
Oh
guys.
no.
Like,
have you heard about people who win the lottery?
Yeah.
The people who win the lottery.
There's
I think there's a bunch of stuff you can read or a documentary about it. But yeah,
like 80%.
They are all suicidal. It's like the worst.
NFL players and
what's crazy, the one who just won the Powerball like messed up. She's in a state where you can accept your winnings anonymously, and she didn't. So, warning: if you ever win the lottery, check your law first because you can maybe anonymously win the money, and then it's like, woo!
Yeah, no,
still
that's
sucks because you'll have other mental issues you have to deal with of how that much stuff comes out.
The reason is that it's actually harder for people to experience joy than pain. We are hardwired to receive pain and rather than joy. But I wish you guys would all experience some joy today. I hope we brought you some.
Welcome to SJU, Jon Bailey.
Crazy. Try to bring some
every morning,
joy
11 a.m. Come join us. Just be anything.
Billy is just laughing.
The show's much better in your imagination, guys.
Seriously, the show's so much better.
In your imagination, this is the best show that ever has been.
The one in your mind that'll never top.
Hashtag in my mind, best show ever.
Can I say that I legitimately feel really bad for both Jim Carrey and Nick Cage?
Oh, I don't.
Switch places with either of them.
Yeah, they are so well off and they're fine.
I wouldn't, honestly. That's what we just talked about, Andy. Like, you would not take all that money and then take all of that trauma too.
Look, it doesn't make your life better, but it makes it really easy.
Yeah,
but clearly it doesn't.
You can just show up at fashion shows and talk about how you don't exist.
I think you could figure it out.
You have faith in me?
Yeah, I think if you decide to be Jim Carrey the way Jim Carrey is now might be troubling, but if you could go in with your knowledge of seeing him and taking Jim Carrey over and then being like, I'm gonna go live on an island and just find close friends, and
I would buy every Avatar sequel and bury it.
Yeah. I would just go live with family, friends, throw it all away, and help where I need to help.
I just kind of want to see a whole group of Jim Carrey fans going to bars and hitting on girls, going, "You don't really exist, but you smell nice."
It's an aura.
It'd work.
Oh my God. Well, in my imagination, I am the best rich person who ever lived. I am just the best, and I feel like we're secreting it now, right, Spencer?
Put it into existence, yeah.
Yep. You know what we're going to do next week? We're going to do movies that you should watch on mute, because you brought that up.
I think it's mushrooms.
Yeah, it's like, that would be interesting.
On mute. I submit Legend for your approval.
Oh,
thank you for joining us. Thank you, guys. John, where can the people find you?
Thanks. Oh, Epic Voice Guy. Oh, and all the things.
At Epic Voice Guy.
At Epic
Go subscribe,
Voice Guy.
follow, and all that.
Thank you so much for being with us today, man.
Sure.
That was fun.
I just was looking for the bathroom and just walked in the room. I was like, oh,
Got jumped in.
Yeah,
when
you
John's
guys
here, we
this
got to
really
throw him on.
exists. So,
So that's not really John. But just in your
you have
mind.
a nice fragrance about you, though.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, great. See you next time.
Tomorrow.
This episode is brought to you by T-Mobile. Want to hear how America's best unlimited network is upping their game? Now get Netflix included with your family plan. There's never been a better time to switch.